There we go.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh,
How are you?
good. Look how pretty you look.
Thank you.
I like the lipstick.
I was actually just farming. Like I actually picked all of the vegetables that we had for dinner tonight, and so I just quickly slapped on some lipstick.
I like it, and your hair looks so pretty.
Thank you.
I love it. Hi, Carolyn. I can't hear her, but I say hi. All right. So did you get a chance to see the new outline or no? We just going to do whatever?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
cool. We'll just wing it. I'll ask you some questions. I'll invite questions from the group and it'll be fine.
Yeah. We'll just do it. I always hate to do things more structured because then it feels
Tilted.
Yeah. And I never want to do that. So
We'll
yeah, that sounds perfect.
Cool.
Yay.
I'm out in Cochrane, Alberta right now.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I know I saw your picture. You were by Lake Louise. I was jealous.
Yes. I'm so excited.
So jealous.
We will give people a couple of minutes to log on because I only see 6 participants currently.
Okay. How many did we have signed up?
13, I think.
Oh, nice. Okay. I was hoping to get a few more today just by doing a last minute push, but I don't know if it worked.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I like a small and intimate group. That's good.
Yeah, it's true. You really want to help people that need the help.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, there's Mary.
How are you? Good to see you. For those of you who have just joined, we're just going to give it a few more minutes to make sure that everyone who is logging on has a chance to, so that they don't miss anything, because this is going to be a good one.
I wish I could see everybody. It's strange that I can't.
I know it's strange to do it in the webinar format, but.
So hello, everyone. I can't see you. Hopefully you can see me.
If everybody who's waiting wants to drop a note in the chat and let us know where you're calling in from, that would be fun. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Joanne. These are all people I know. Yeah, we'll just give it a couple more minutes.
No problem. It's still pretty light your time. I'm surprised at 8 o'clock. The sun isn't down.
It's 6 o'clock here.
Oh, you're earlier.
Yep.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's usually, it's getting darker here, but sunset's like at 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah. Hi, Mary. Welcome. Do any of you ladies, while you're waiting, have any comments or questions about sleep? If you want to drop it in the chat, we can take a couple while we're waiting. Sleep, what's that? Oh, is it that bad, Joanne? This is going to be good for you then.
Don't worry, Joanne. We have help on the way.
You know what, though? I think all of us are like that. Even the sleep experts, right, Shawna?
Totally. Totally. Yeah. Yep. Because you can troubleshoot it to the best of your ability, but then sometimes the body just does what the body does.
Absolutely. I interviewed Shawna for an article on sleep, and the night before our interview, her dog had kept her awake all night.
Mm-hmm. It was like 3 nights in a row. He whined all night. He's being a good boy now, though. He hasn't woken me up in a couple of weeks. I don't know what was bugging him. Something was bugging him.
All right. Well, it's 6:03, so let's get started. to everyone joining us tonight, thank you so much for joining us. If you don't know me, I'm JourneyWoman editor Amanda Burgess, and with me is sleep expert and member of our JourneyWoman Advisory Council, Shawna Robbins. And Shawna, I'll let you introduce yourself to everyone and give a bit of your background.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Shawna Robbins. I am a health and wellness coach, and I'm also a best-selling author of a book called Powerful Sleep. Rest deeply, repair your brain, and restore your life. And I promise you, it is true. So we are going to talk about all good things sleep and health related, and also some things that you can do to boost your immune system, as well as tips that you can use to help sleep better at night, and some small but really powerful lifestyle changes you can make during the day that will go a long way in helping you be healthier and sleep better and take more trips and have more adventures and live your best life, because that's what we all want, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I think we can all agree that sleep is an issue for women.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get enough of it. We don't prioritize it enough.
Mm-hmm.
We feel terrible after a night of no sleep. So what are some of the biggest sleep depriving culprits?
Oh, there's so many. Do you want to just jump right into the tips that I have for everyone? You want to start there? Okay. So for me, just so that you're aware of my background, I was diagnosed with cancer in my early 30s, and that set me on a path of really looking at different lifestyle choices that I could make to not only heal my cancer, but the reasons I got sick. And so thank goodness now I'm almost 50. So I've been almost 20 years outside that diagnosis. And so in that process of learning those lifestyle tips to stay cancer free, I learned many different ways to live my life in a better way to just stay healthier in general. And so I went through a period, I used to have clients that would come to me and want to talk about sleep, and they didn't understand why one day they could sleep and then the next day the sleep was gone, and their insomnia would come and go. And so I write about this in my book. In the first chapter, I kind of would, feel sorry for them, and we would empathize and we would try to troubleshoot it, but I never really got it until I turned 47, and I just stopped. Like, my hormones changed, I hit perimenopause, and that was it. I mean, lying awake, staring at the ceiling, going, oh my God, this is what they're all talking about. This is hell. And just feeling so awful during the day, the brain fog, the anxiety about even going to bed in the first place, just being irritable, being moody, craving carbs and sugar, then gaining weight, and setting myself up for this horribly negative pattern, not having enough energy to exercise, and the stress that goes along with that was really overwhelming. So that led me on this path. And then my dad also was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. So that was another really motivating factor for me. I don't know if I have the genetics to Alzheimer's, but I'm simply living like I do. And so because of that, I learned a lot about neuroinflammation, and that's why I wrote the book. And one of the factors in my dad's early onset is, at the time we didn't know he had a genetic component because nobody in the family had ever gotten Alzheimer's. But sleep, he only slept 2 to 3 hours a night. And so sleep is a huge factor with Alzheimer's. And right now in the US, there's 5.5 million Americans diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and 2/3 of those are women. And so women, because we have a problem sleeping, we have a problem with neurodegenerative diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. So I'm here to really talk about this and what you can do, because I really want to make sure that women stop being sick. Women have the highest level of heart disease. Women have the highest level of cancer. Women have more autoimmune diseases than men. Women are ill, and we need to take care of ourselves and put ourselves on the list. It's really, really important that we do that. So as far as the steps that you can take for sleeping well, if any of you have a pen, piece of paper, pencil, I highly recommend you pull it out now. I'm going to go through them. I tend to talk kind of fast, so Amanda, slow me down. Ask me questions, but I'm just going to dive right into it. So the most important thing that you can do to sleep well is to make good daytime choices. It's not about nighttime choices. I mean, those are a part and parcel to it, but daytime choices. And the number one thing you can do is eat well. Your food dictates your sleep. So if you're eating whole real foods, not applesauce, but apples, not prepackaged store-bought food from the grocery store or from Costco or, anything like that that's made in bulk, but actually eating your vegetables, eating plants, eating lean proteins, eating beans, making sure you're getting enough fiber, making sure that you are, you know, eating your antioxidants, your blueberries, your raspberries, your boysenberries, and all of those things, your wild caught salmon, which is still in season right now, which I don't know about you in Canada, but I mean, in California, it's been amazing. So I can only imagine how amazing the wild caught salmon has been for you. Having pasture raised meats, you know, all of those things go such a long way in giving your body what it needs, the nutrients that it needs, the minerals that it needs, the healthy fats that it needs, so that it can make melatonin, so it can make serotonin, so it can make all these happy brain chemicals that you need to have to be able to sleep 7 to 9 hours interrupted every night. So I would recommend that you really start to look at your diet and really try to make it as fresh as possible and not processed and, you know, not laden with a bunch of chemicals and processed bad oils and things like that. So that's, for me, the number one recommendation that I give. Another one is to really, yes, jump in.
Adjust your screen just a little bit so we can see more of you.
Sure. To really limit the caffeine use after 12 p.m. How's that? Is that better?
Better.
Yeah. The caffeine after 12 is a total sleep buster. You know, if you want to have a cup or two of coffee in the morning, great, or tea or whatever you like, but at noon, as soon as you get hungry for lunch, no caffeine. The other thing is soda. Soda is a huge sleep buster. It has caffeine, it has sugar. It, you know, in nutrition school, we were taught, I mean, the nickname for soda was liquid death. You know, soda is not your friend. If you have a soda addiction, do what you can do to try to change it into something healthier, like a matcha latte or a green tea or, you know, water. Water is good. So that brings me to the next thing, hydration. Make sure you hydrate during the day, because you don't want to hydrate at night. You hydrate at night, you're going to get up to use the bathroom. So you want to be drinking half your body weight. Yep, like Amanda, half your body weight in ounces during the day. And if you stay properly hydrated, then your body does this amazing thing. When you're not hydrated, it holds on to fluids. And all of a sudden, if you start hydrating yourself and giving yourself what you need, that half of your body weight in ounces per day, it's going to start releasing the fluids because it knows it's going to get more. So it's not going to be in this survival thing. And so it might be odd in the beginning. You might be running to the bathroom every hour during the day, but you know, at night, you're going to sleep better. Your skin's going to be better. Your hair's going to be better. Hydration is a huge thing. Women are chronically dehydrated. I have so many clients that are women that say, well, I have coffee in the morning and wine at night. I'm not thirsty. It's like, no, you just, your body can't function at optimal levels if you're not properly hydrated during the day. So.
I think it's, as women, we're so busy running around through our day, we don't stop to do that. And if we're not carrying enough water with us, we won't. So I started carrying a 1.5 liter water bottle around with me, and I'll drink it throughout my morning, and I fill it twice throughout the day, and then I have 3 liters of water.
There you go. There you go. It's so simple, and it's really just an act of self-care. Drinking water is fundamentally your self-care for the day. And if you can't remember how much you've had, you can even get an app on your phone that will log how much you drank. It will remind you to drink. If you don't like water, I have a lot of clients that say, ooh, I don't like water. Great, no problem. A little fresh lemon juice, some lime juice, put some strawberries in there, put some watermelon, whatever you like. Just flavor your water and drink it, because it will really, really help your sleep at night if you're properly hydrated during the day. And then you won't want to have a glass of water before bed or in the middle of the night, because you won't be so thirsty.
My daughter has an app on her phone that's a little plant, and every time she drinks water, it grows a little bit or it's happy. And when it's dehydrated, it's very sad and starts to shrivel.
Well, guilt, like if that guilt works for you, then that's the app for you. I think you should put it in the chat. Some people need the app to like beep at them, yell at them, you know, whatever. I mean, you know, you do what you need to do for you. For me, I'm like you, Amanda, I can just use the water bottles throughout the day. So I can go, oh, look, I feel so successful. It's 4 o'clock. I've had my, 3 liters. So yeah, it's great. So let's see, exercise. So daily exercise is really going to help you sleep at night. I know that seems like that's not correlated, but it's completely correlated, especially if you can exercise outside. That's even better. But daily exercise where you get hot, you get sweaty, your heart is pumping, you're just moving. You can dance in your house. You can do yoga in the backyard. You can hike and walk with a friend, you know, whatever it is that you like, just do it and commit to doing it every single day, 5-6 days a week, 1 hour a day. You know, get your exercise, get your heart flowing, get your happy hormones going on in your brain so that then you feel better, your stress comes down, your cortisol levels come down. And at night when you get into bed, you can relax and you can drift off to sleep and you can stay asleep all night. So exercise is another really key thing for sleep that I don't think a lot of women recognize. Okay, this is probably the most important thing I'm gonna say. So I wanna make sure that everybody is going to hear this. So tune in if for some reason, yeah. Do not eat or drink anything 3 hours before bedtime. Nothing at all. No wine, no tea, no water, no ice cream, no cookies, nothing. If you eat too close to bedtime, your blood sugar is gonna go up, and then at 2 or 3 in the morning, it's gonna drop. Same if you have a glass of wine. Same if you have tea with some honey, or you'll have to use the bathroom because you've had fluids and you just can't hold it all night. So it's really important that if you are gonna go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, you finish your dinner, you finish your wine, you drink your water, you take your supplements by 7 o'clock. You don't wanna have anything else 3 hours before bedtime. That way your body can rest, it can have its digestion done, and you can actually get in bed and your body can move from active mode to rest and repair mode. And that's what you want. You want your body to heal and, you know, regenerate your brain and your heart and your muscles and your skin and your cells and everything in your body. Your body has this like built-in recovery and repair mechanism. And the only way to trigger it is to calm down the fight or flight, which usually happens sleep time, and to not have anything interrupt it, like digestion. You don't want to have that. So no eating or drinking 3 hours before bed. As soon as I made that one change, my sleep changed like that. So that one is a really, really powerful sleep tip and sleep hack to do. Yeah.
Let's say you have stopped drinking 4 to 6 hours before bed and your mouth is just really dry. Can you have a sip of water?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, try it. I mean, if that makes you have to get up in an hour or two and go use the bathroom, then you know the answer. But, you know, ideally, you know, you're not that parched because it's only been 3 hours. If you turn back from when you go to bed at 11, you finish eating and drinking at 8 p.m. You know, so it's like, that should give you enough of a window of time. Even if you eat at 7 and then you want to have a little cup of tea after dinner, or you want to have a little glass of wine, or you want to have, you know, something like that. Great, have it. And then just know you've got to push your sleep back another half an hour.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that there's flexibility and there's fluidity in that. Obviously, everybody's body is different, but I found that to be such a game changer for myself and the majority of my clients as soon as I told them no eating or drinking 3 hours before bedtime. Let's see, what else? Oh, stress management. Yeah, we talked about stress management. We talked about it with exercise, the way exercise really helps to calm the fight or flight response. A lot of women that I work with have the anxiety in the middle of the night. They have the tapes of thoughts running through their head. They wake up and then they think of the 50 things that they've got to do or that they're worried about or things that they forgot to do. You know, the lists. We live with these lists, us super women. And it's really, really important to find something that you like during the daytime hours where you can just calm down. Is that gardening? Is that gratitude journaling? Is it breath work? Is it a mantra that you say to yourself? I am safe. I am well. Everybody around me is safe. Everybody else is well. You know, anything that you can do to really make yourself feel comfortable and secure and warm and loved and, you know, just calm those nervous systems down. That's a really wonderful thing. Meditation, music, listening to music, talking to a friend on the phone, all of those things. They give you oxytocin. And oxytocin is the hormone that we make when we breastfeed. Oxytocin is an amazing hormone because when you make oxytocin, you can't make cortisol. The body can only make one or the other. And so the more oxytocin that you can make, hug your dog, you know, snuggle up with your partner, whatever it is that gives you that oxytocin, it'll automatically bring down your cortisol levels. So I would really encourage you to find something every day that you can do to really support a lifestyle where you allow yourself to just kind of come down. We all live such amped lives.
Now, I can imagine all the women watching are thinking, that's great, that's amazing, it all makes sense. It's a lot.
Oh, I'm not, are you kidding? I'm like at 5. I got 5 more.
Right?
We can stop.
No, we don't need
We
to
can do
stop
another seminar.
for a moment and say, okay, we've just taken in a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
How do we start making these changes so that we actually make them a habit? And so that it doesn't become too much and we get overwhelmed and we're like, oh, forget it. I'm just going to go on as I was going on.
All right. Well, that's awesome. You brought that up because I love that. Okay. So just pick 1 or 2 things that I've said and do that.
So let's start with the not eating or drinking a few hours before bed.
Okay.
That's pretty easy. And then, you know, it's a hard one for women, but maybe making the eating changes.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about the eating changes is they're cyclical. So when you're tired, you crave carbs and sugar as quick energy, which then throws your blood sugar up and down, and then it makes you crave more carbs and sugar, and then it makes you put on weight, and then it makes inflammatory diseases start to build in your body. And so it's like this chicken or the egg sort of thing. So if you can just interrupt the negative cycle somewhere, either sleep more or eat better foods. And if you can't sleep more, then try to interrupt the cycle with eating better foods, and then you'll find your way back to sleep. And then you'll find, and then when you're rested, you're like, I don't need potato chips. I'm good. Oh, I don't need that, donut at breakfast. I'm good. I can have, cottage cheese, or I can have something else. I mean, it's just becomes sort of a self-fulfilling cycle that you'll eat better, you'll sleep better, then you'll eat better, So just interrupt that negative pattern somewhere. So pick 1 or 2 things in your life that you feel like you could improve on, and just do those.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got 5 more for you, everyone.
But I'll be quick about it. No, actually, I have 5. Okay, so we kind of touched on alcohol. Alcohol is a huge sleep buster for women. It affects our hormones, it affects our brains, it interrupts our REM cycles. Alcohol has tons of sugar in it. It'll make your blood sugar go up and down, and that will wake you up. It's really not your friend. Breast cancer numbers are much higher for women who drink more than 4 drinks a week, like substantially, like 20% higher. And with each drink you go over 5 drinks, it's like an extra 10% higher for your breast cancer numbers. So alcohol, like 4 drinks or under a week, it's so hard to do because so many of us are so stressed, and alcohol is an easy thing to turn to sort of down-regulate the nervous system and calm down. But I would highly challenge you to maybe look at other healthier options: chamomile tea, tulsi tea, a warm bath, a chat with a friend, reading a nice book, something else that's more comforting and nurturing to yourself than just drinking wine. So, yeah. So alcohol is a big one. I know. Oh, you muted yourself.
Sorry about that, ladies. We know we all, but
I know. And my clients say to me, I'm not giving up the alcohol. And I say, okay, that's fine. No problem. So if you want, work on the other things, but just know that I planted the seed in the back of your head that if you want to give it up, it's going to do all sorts of great things for you, or even just pare it down. Just pare it down, a little more moderation, maybe it's 2 glasses on Friday and 2 glasses on Saturday and no glasses during the week. Doesn't have to be a hard and fast rule, but it's one of the healthier changes that you can make in your life to live longer, is to really bring your alcohol down to 4 drinks or less a week. So let's see. Oh yes, one of my favorites. Take a warm bath or shower 1 hour before bed. I love this one. You heat up your body. You don't love it?
Oh, I do love it. It's so
you do?
Yes.
You heat up your body, and then it naturally cools, and that gets your body ready to sleep. That's such a great sleep tool to do. And you don't need to take a super hot shower, a super hot bath, just something nice and warm and relaxing. And then when you get out and you're warm and you're clean, and then your body does this cool down thing, and it just gets ready, the melatonin goes up and you curl into bed, and it's just a really nice routine to have at night. Besides, you can kind of separate from your partner or your family and just have a little bit of quiet time, a little bit of you time.
And as we were talking about, you can put a little bit of magnesium oil in your bath and kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's right. Epsom salts or magnesium oil. Yeah, that's a wonderful sleep enhancement that you can do. Yep. And I know you love that. I love magnesium too. I drink mine, but because I don't have a bathtub that I really love. But oh man, if I did, I would just be soaking in that every single day.
Oh, I have one of those old-fashioned giant clawfoot
Oh,
bathtubs.
oh,
Yes.
so jealous. That's wonderful. I wish I had that. Okay, so blue light. We got to talk about blue light, right? That's a big deal. You got your blue light on all day, then you got your blue light on at night. That really inhibits your body's ability to make melatonin. So you really need to cut out the blue light. I obviously must talk about it too much because on my social media, I keep getting ads for those glasses, the blue light blocking glasses. So I'm like, clearly they're listening to me. I don't have them, but I think I'm going to have to buy them because they obviously have profiled me as somebody who would. But yeah, you can turn your blue light off on your iPad, on your phone, on your computer, obviously not on your television. So I just say, turn the TV off an hour before bed, but really making sure that you're aware of your blue light is a really great sleep hack. Sometimes just that alone is enough to help women sleep better. Being mindful of the blue light. And then the sleep sanctuary. I'm a big fan of creating the sleep sanctuary. My husband thinks I'm nuts and I really don't care because I sleep so nicely in my sleep sanctuary. I've got blackout shades, white noise, earplugs. It has to be 65 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got my weighted blanket. Oh, and I am just snuggled in and, 7 to 9 hours, no problem. No problem. So those are all great things to do in your bedroom and really create that sleep sanctuary. Again, it's like an act of self-care, really knowing how you sleep best. Do you need the room warmer? Do you need it cooler? Does noise bother you? Does light bother you? Does it not? Do you need a sleep mask? What is it that works for you? And really just doing what feels right for your body. Yep. All right. And the last thing we touched on are the supplements. So yes. The supplements that I recommend people taking are magnesium. I love magnesium. The brand I use is called Calm, but you can use any brand. I don't rep any brands. That's just the one that I personally like for myself. I mean, you like the magnesium oil that you do in your bath. And GABA, I love GABA. GABA is a neurotransmitter that helps your body make dopamine, and dopamine makes you feel elated and happy and fun. And that's what we get when we travel. We get a lot of dopamine when we try new foods and we hear new music and we meet new people. Dopamine is that really happy neurotransmitter. And L-theanine is the other one. They're buddies. You can take them together. L-theanine is in green tea and tulsi teas, different kinds of green teas, matcha tea. And it just really helps your body to feel calm and happy and really just enjoy moments of time. And that helps during the day too, because when you take your GABA at night, then when you wake up in the morning, you feel great. And you still have all these happy neurotransmitters in your brain. Plus you've slept well and the world just feels better than when you don't have neurotransmitters and you don't sleep well. So those are my 10. And like I said, just pick one or two that, speak to you and that you feel like you can tackle with relative ease. That would just be a small, minor tweak in your life. It'll make a big difference.
Now, everyone watching, if you have any questions on any of those 10 tips, put them in the chat and we will address them as we go along. One other topic. So none of us are really traveling much right now. But there is a day that we foresee we might again. And I think one of the things that's going to be in the backs of everybody's minds is improving our immune system so that we don't get sick, whether it's COVID or any other sickness. And of course, a good immune system is key to good sleep and vice versa. So how can we boost our immune system so that we can be hearty and well when we start to travel again?
I can't wait to travel again. I miss it so much. Let's see, your immune system is really interesting. So your immune cells are made in your gut and they're only made while you sleep, especially the fighter cells, the C8 and the C10 cells. So that's why sleep is so important. And I'm so happy that you are all here learning about it and you're so motivated and dedicated to taking care of yourself by sleeping more, because by sleeping, you're also going to up your immune system response. So, when your body is resting, you're able to make these immune cells in your gut, and it's really, your gut is one of the most important factors in your health. if you have an impaired gut response, if you have food allergies, if you have leaky gut syndrome, you know, if you have IBS, if you have ulcerative colitis, if you have things that have impacted your gut, you are not going to have the immune system that, you know, you could have. You're not going to have the brain health, the heart health. In the next 5 years, the microbiome in your gut is going to be, I think, first and foremost in everybody's health mind. You're going to go into your doctor and they're going to give you a stool sample test to see what your gut is doing, because the gut is really, you know, the basis of your health. So some of the things I recommend to improve your gut health, besides sleeping, are, you know, making sure that you eat enough fermented foods. Fermented foods are great at feeding your gut bacteria. And in case you don't know, your gut bacteria is called your microbiome, and you actually have more cells in your microbiome than you have in your entire body. So you are actually a host for another life form. Your microbiome is really what digests your food, makes all your hormones, creates your moods, helps you to sleep. You know, when you say you have a gut instinct about something, it's your microbiome responding to whatever that person or that situation is. So these are friendly bacteria, and they are really your besties. So take care of them. Fermented foods, resistant starches really are helpful to feed them. So if you cook some rice, put it in the fridge, and when it's cooled, take it out, eat it cold. You actually won't digest that, but your microbiome will feed on it and they love it. Same with sweet potatoes. Make sure you do it with the skins. Cook some sweet potatoes, put it in the fridge. Yeah, it's any kind of starchy vegetable that you can cook. Especially now we're coming into the fall. So all of the fall veggies are nice and starchy, all the squashes and that sort of thing. Cook them night before, put them in the fridge, take them out, chop them up, put them in a salad, eat them with your breakfast, eat them for lunch. They're great at feeding your gut bacteria. You will feel so much healthier for that. And that'll really go a long way at improving your immune system. Kefir is another good thing. I make my own kefir, my own yogurt. It's really simple and easy to make, and it's not full of sugar like the kinds that you buy in the grocery store. So that's a great thing. Sauerkraut, kimchi, what else? You can pretty much ferment any kind of vegetables. You can ferment beets, you can ferment carrots and Brussels sprouts. It's really easy. There's tons of recipes online. You just need some glass mason jars and you let them sit out for about a week. And and then you can just use them in salads and pastas and whatever it is that you're eating and cooking. You can just add in your fermented vegetables. So garlic, lemon, those are great things to ferment that you can eat. Fermented garlic is delicious. So, and super healthy because it's full of all this antibiotic and antiviral chemicals to it too. So eating, you know, fermented garlic every day is and the flavor is really dulled, and the breath is not so bad. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, let's see what else in my notes. Oh yes, insoluble fibers. So fibers that are not digested by you, but that are digested by your microbiome. We talked about resistant starches, but there are other fibers as well, things that you can do, different kinds of bran and oats and chia seeds. I love chia seeds. And ground flaxseed is one of the better ones too. Add that to smoothies or on top of your oatmeal or, you know, whatever it is that you like to have. Yeah, so that's going to go a really long way at helping your immune system stay healthy and strong.
So we did have a question about willpower. So what about the woman who starts to try and make some of these changes and suddenly says, like, I can't, like, it's a lot for me. I don't even know where to start. I need some support. Where do I go?
Well, you come to me because that is what I do for a living, right? I have a program called Health Your True Wealth, and it's an 8-week online program. And I take a group of like-minded women and we all work through these issues together. And we all work through sleep and gut health and heart health and brain health together. And we take small but powerful lifestyle choices and changes that you can make, and we implement them every week. And then we have coaching calls to do feedback, and women are so amazing. They learn so well together in a group. We're so community minded. We're so supportive. We're so nurturing of one another, more than almost than we are of ourselves. And so when you put women together in a group and you learn all of these things, it's the results are incredibly powerful. And the results that I've seen with the women in my groups have been really fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm an optimist. So looking
Me
forward
too.
that we can travel again, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later. How can we start to prepare ourselves to sleep better while traveling? Because travel, changing time zones, obviously can be a sleep disruptor. How do we start to create those good habits so that we can sleep on the road as well as at home?
Well, I think, we covered this in our last webinar and it was so great because I think there was one unicorn that was in our group that was like, I get on a plane, I sleep 8 hours, I get to a place, I don't have jet lag. I'm like, wow, you're amazing, really. That's not me. But yeah, I think just taking the good habits that you have from home and taking them with you on the road is really important. Sometimes when you travel, you're like, oh, I'm on vacation, I'll drink whatever, eat whatever, go to sleep whenever. And it's really important to kind of stick to the routine that you develop at home as much as you possibly can. I mean, obviously things are going to be different. You might be on a bus sitting for longer than you would normally at home, or, you might not have access to the food that maybe you might prepare at home. You might have to kind of wing it a little bit more, or eat out more, or eat different types of food. Maybe the foods are fattier or heavier or cooked differently. And so obviously that's going to be something that, you're just going to have to try to be flexible with. But, if you can set up your sleep sanctuary when you get there, figure out what you need to sleep well. In my book, I talk about LeBron James and how when he goes into every single, when he used to be traveling for the Lakers, he would go into every single hotel room and he had like a list of things that had to be done. The curtains had to be this way, the temperature had to be this way, the comforter had to be this weight, all this stuff. And it was so important for him to be always playing at his top performance for every single game, was to set up this sleep sanctuary. So even if you could just do that when you go on the road and when you're back traveling again, so that, in case it's light out, you've got your eye mask. In case it's loud out because you're in the city somewhere, you've got your earplugs. In case it's too hot or too cold, you can troubleshoot things. And, bring your GABA with you, bring your magnesium with you. Make sure you're not eating or drinking anything 3 hours before you're going to climb into bed. Try to move during the day. Sometimes when you're traveling, you walk a ton. I love that about traveling, but sometimes you sit more than you sit at home. You sit on the airplane, you sit in the transportation, you sit. So really make sure that you're mindful of getting out and moving your body. So, and drink your water.
Drink your water. What about sleeping on planes? I know I have a problem with that. How can we sleep better on planes, or at least get better rest if we can't fully sleep?
Planes are tricky, because they're light, they're noisy. Sometimes they're too hot. Sometimes they're freezing cold. So what I try to do is I try to always make sure that I have kind of the range of things that I need. I have something to black out my eyes. I have a melatonin that I can take. I'm not a big fan of people taking melatonin all the time, but when they travel, when they're on an airplane, I always say, sure, take a melatonin when you get on the plane, when you land that evening, take another melatonin. And then if you need to take a third one, fine. If not, be done. So you never want to take more than like 3 nights of melatonin in a row. So that's something that you can do. Make sure that you're comfortable, make sure that you're warm enough, make sure that, I think you and I talked about a weighted blanket before in our sleep talks. I love weighted blankets. They're very hard to bring on the road with you because they weigh, 10 or 12 pounds. But you can certainly replicate that. I always bring a heavy jacket with me on the plane. I either tie it around my waist, I can throw it up in the overhead bin, and then I can kind of layer on top of myself to kind of get that snuggly, cozy, heavier feeling on me. And that really helps to kind of calm my nervous system down. And don't drink too much on the airplane. Alcohol is a huge sleep buster, especially on airplanes, because you get dehydrated. And of course it's fun to have like 1 or 2 because you're excited to be going someplace. But, all in all, just try to really limit the alcohol consumption, and that's going to help you sleep better on the airplane.
I want them to create a weighted cape, a tiny little cape on your shoulders for travel. I think that would be amazing.
They do have vests for children, especially children with sensory processing disorder. Weighted things are really helpful for children because it makes them feel really safe and calm. So I was looking into like, what's the largest size child's vest? that I can get. And then I'm walking through the airport with like my 10-pound vest on, it's a good workout for me, and dragging my bags, right? And I can just see myself taking off my vest and trying to get into the overhead bin, but yeah, that weighted material, and having that is such a game changer for your autonomic nervous system. It really just calms you down, makes you feel cozy. It's like a big giant hug. And that just helps to relax you, and then you can drift off to sleep so much easier.
And one of the things we talked about before, because it's a temptation for women, whether you're going on a long flight or you can't sleep at home or you can't sleep once you've changed time zones a bunch of time, people want to reach for the sleep aid.
Yeah, not a fan.
Right.
I have a chapter in my book, it's about that, about prescription sleep aids. And can I just take an Ambien? I get so many clients that ask me, I'll just take one Ambien. I'll just take a half an Ambien, right? I just say, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't need it. I mean, they're so addictive. There's so many negative things that they do to your body. You can go online, you can read the Ambien stories of people who do crazy things, even just taking a half or a quarter of an Ambien. The sleepwalking, the disrobing, all sorts of stuff that it's just nuts. So what Ambien does actually, and so do benzos, is they help your body make more GABA. And so I always say, why do you need to take that and have all the negative side effects of those? Why not just take a GABA? You can buy it over the counter. You can buy a chewable. You can get one that you swallow. And then you're getting the same type of happy neurotransmitters for your brain that you would be getting if you were to be taking a prescription sleep aid that comes with a litany of, black box warnings. So that's what I say. Don't do it.
And what else do you recommend for women who are maybe having trouble falling asleep at night? They've done everything. They've got their sleep sanctuary. They've got everything set up, but, they're just having trouble actually calming down enough to fall asleep.
So 2 things, I think. One would be probably look at your exercise levels during the day, making sure that you're active enough, making sure that you're really getting that stress relief, making sure that you're really sweating and moving and, moving your body. And then the second thing would be to just pull out a pen and a little journal and write down what's bothering you. What's keeping you up? What's on your mind? What are you worried about? And really take a look at that. Sometimes things, when we get into bed, we've been so busy all day that we haven't really had a chance to listen to ourselves and hear our thoughts and hear our truth. And so sometimes that comes out. Maybe there's sadness, maybe there's grief, maybe there's anger, maybe there's something that we are doing. Maybe somebody was, doing something today that really upset us and we've stuffed it down. And then you get into bed and it's like, here it is, it wants an avenue out. So let it out. Let it out in a way that feels good and safe and comfortable for you. And if even still you lay down and your mind is still racing and you can't calm it, a gratitude journal is what I say really works well. That's what I point my clients to. Just thinking about, sometimes we think about what we don't have more than we think about what we do have. And gratitude journals or even prayers are so helpful at just remembering, okay, what actually happened today that worked well? What actually happened today that I'm proud of? What actually happened that I'm grateful for? And sometimes just that is enough to go, oh, all right, so it wasn't as bad of a day as I thought. And just because that person cut me off in traffic or yelled at me at the office, or I made this big mistake, or, my husband and I got in a big fight, it's going to be okay, because all of these other wonderful things happened today and I'm going to focus on those things. And tomorrow I'm going to deal with the things that were bothering me. Or maybe in the morning light, they don't look so bad anymore and you can let them go. But yeah, sleep is like that. Sometimes, you just, all that stuff just bubbles up to the surface as soon as we stop moving and thinking and fixing and shifting and morphing into what everybody wants us to be, nurturing and caring for everybody else.
So it's about packing our toolbox with enough varied things to try when we're in that moment where we're like, oh, I can't sleep or I can't get to sleep. What can I reach for? And instead of reaching for the easy things, it's about putting as many things in our toolbox as we can, so that, like, I'm going to try this. Maybe it works tonight. Maybe it doesn't work tomorrow, but I have something else that I can pull out and try.
Right.
I have a meditation app called Calm, and there's a million of them out there, but a lot of them have sleep stories, and a celebrity that's reading a story to you, and it takes you back to childhood when your mom read you a book, and it's comforting. And sometimes just that music and the voice and the calming effect of it actually being read to and being cared for, which, as women, we care for everybody else in our lives, and we don't get cared for often enough. Sometimes it's just as easy as that.
That's right. That's right. Good sleep at night really depends on the amount of self-care that you can give yourself. And whether it's drinking water, whether it's listening to a sleep story, whether it's, exercising or eating healthy foods, all of that stuff is all about loving yourself, taking care of yourself, putting yourself on the list, to making sure that you get what you need. It's the whole, put on your oxygen mask first before anybody else's. That's what this is. That's what sleep is about. So if you're not sleeping, it's a great indication of where in your life you're not prioritizing your self-care.
And sometimes we can have great habits. We put in place all these great habits, and we wake up in the middle of the night and we tell ourselves, it's okay, go back to sleep. And then we just can't.
Mm-hmm.
The knee-jerk reaction is, well, I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to read for a bit and try that. What do you say about that?
I would say, please don't do that. It's really normal to wake up in between REM cycles. Most of the time you don't realize it, but sometimes you just do. You wake up and you're like, oh my God, I'm awake. And I just remembered I had this crazy dream. And so I think that, our brain is built in to be able to just go back into another REM cycle. It happens all the time. In fact, Carolyn had told me that she bought a new device that measures her sleep cycles, and she was surprised at how much she wakes up. And I had asked her, I said, are you really awake? Like, are you really consciously aware that you're awake? Because sometimes that just happens. And then an odd thing will, if it's every once in a while that you happen to wake up, just self-talk. I'm good, I'm cozy, I'm warm, I'm just gonna roll right over and I'm gonna go back to sleep. And, most likely I would say 60-70% of the time that should work. If it doesn't work, then I recommend getting a little red light from Amazon, like a little tiny red book light. It doesn't have any blue light in it. And keeping a really, really boring book next to the bed. This worked really well for a client of mine. It was like a textbook of hers that was like so dull. You just the cover of it was like, oh my God, the book could put you to sleep. And she would pick like a random page in it. She would clip the red light on. And so if she got to the point where she kept telling herself, fall back asleep, you can do this, and she just couldn't, she would roll over, she would click on the light, she would open it up, she'd read a page or two, and that was enough to just, her brain was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to be doing this right now. I need to be going back to bed. And you just drift right off back to bed. So give that a try. And in fact, I was going to tell you, for your bathroom trips, Amanda, you should get yourself a little red light and have it so that you don't have any blue light that affects you. I mean, if you need a little light for a bathroom trip.
I actually just stumble to the bathroom in the dark and I make sure that I don't look at my phone or turn on any lights.
That's fine too.
And most often I am able to get back to sleep right away because I've made myself not look at my phone or any of those.
Right. But if you find that you are in a new place, you're traveling, you're in a surroundings that are not familiar, and you really want to have a light, get yourself a little red light that you can use, because that's not going to interfere with your melatonin production or interfere with your sleep cycles, but it'll give you just enough light to find the restroom or to read a boring book.
Amazing. Now, we did have a question come in from the community. What is your opinion on using essential oils in a diffuser for sleep? And if you do recommend it, what ones do you recommend?
I love essential oils. My kids call me the witch doctor because I rub essential oils on their feet. I diffuse them. I put them in my teas and drink them. I'm a big fan of essential oils. So, for nighttime, my favorite obviously is lavender. Lavender is amazing for sleep. It's amazing for a lot of things, but it's really incredible for sleep. And so I will just, take a cotton swab, put some lavender on it and put it next to my pillow, or I'll smell it at night while I'm doing my gratitude journal, and I'll be smelling my lavender. I'll put it in my bath, in the water, so that you can smell it that way. You can diffuse it. But it's really my favorite. I had one client that said, oh, I love essential oils. I used eucalyptus. And I said, before bed? And she said, oh yeah, I love the smell of it. I'm like, how are you sleeping? She's like, not so great. I'm like, yeah, you use that in the morning. That really wakes you up. you know, so she goes, oh, I've been putting in my kid's room and he hasn't been sleeping. Oh, well, that's why. So, you know, essential oils are really, really powerful because they don't have cellular membranes around them. So your body can absorb them like this. And so, in fact, if you ever want to do a super cool experiment, you just take a little bit of peppermint oil and put it on the bottom of your feet and count how many seconds until you can taste it on your tongue. It's amazing. It goes straight through the system because your body can just instantly absorb it. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you diffuse it or smell it or rub it on your body or, you know, put it in your bath. It's going to be instantly taken by your body. So lavender is the one that I recommend the best for sleep. And if there's any, you know, there's lots of different companies that sell essential oils and they have like sleepy blends and those are fine too. You know, sometimes I think they have German chamomile in them and velveter in them. And, but for me, the lavender works just fine.
Absolutely. So everyone who is tuning in, this is about you, and we want to make sure that we get your specific questions about sleep answered. So if you have a question, please put it in the chat, but Shawna and I can just continue chatting until you do. Okay, so what is one thing you want people to walk away from this seminar with? If you had one message to say, if you do nothing else, please do this, because we obviously have covered a lot of ground tonight, and it's probably going to be a little bit overwhelming as people go away and start to digest it all.
My message would be to just take care of yourself. Put yourself on the list. Prioritize your health as number one. You know, we have so many different competing factors, families and children and work and partners. And, you know, sometimes women, most of the time, women get lost in the fray. And that needs to stop if you want to sleep well. And if you want to live a long, healthy life, if you want to have a healthy brain and a healthy heart and be able to have adventures and get back to traveling again and doing the things that we all love to do, just put yourself on the list. Even if it's just drinking your water a day, even if it's just trying to meditate every day, just put yourself on the list.
Hear that, everybody? You have permission to focus on you.
Yes. And you don't need that permission from us. You've always had that.
Exactly. Yep. We're just enforcing it.
Yep.
Okay, so what else do we need to talk about? What else can you think of?
Are there any questions that we can answer directly that people have asked? Let's see.
A couple that have come in.
I think there was something about wine. Somebody asked a question back. You know, the wine's always something that everybody likes to discuss.
What about the health benefits of wine was the question.
Yeah, and there are health benefits of wine, absolutely. You know, which is why I don't say don't drink any, but you know, the 4 glasses of wine a week or less is the best as far as, you know, just really maximizing your sleep and maximizing your health.
We have another question. Is dreaming a sign of good sleep?
Well, you typically dream in your REM cycles and you want to have 4 to 5 REM cycles a night. So actually you will have many dreams in one evening setting. If you're having, you know, those amounts of REM cycles in like a 7-hour sleep window, you should have roughly 4 to 5 REM cycles. Obviously if you sleep 8 hours, you might have an extra one in there, but you won't remember your dreams unless you wake up right in between REM cycles. Like I said, sometimes you'll roll over and you'll wake up and you'll think, oh my God, that was weird. But then other times you'll just go from REM cycle to REM cycle and with no conscious awareness between them. So yeah, dreams are really fantastic because you know that you've had a good REM cycle. Your brain's been able to repair itself. It's been able to regenerate. It stores its memories. Sometimes some of the dreams are related to the memories that the brain is storing. So when it stores a memory about something, it triggers a memory about something else, and then you'll have a dream about it. So that just shows you that your brain is working and it's doing what it needs to do and cleaning itself at night, which is really important.
What about those times where we think we aren't sleeping, but we do have a dream?
So you have like a light, so you have these stages of sleep, and I talk about them in my book. And so you have, you know, like a twilight, and then you drip, and so your brain goes through these different waves. So you have, I forget off the top of my head right now what they are. I think it's like an alpha to a beta to a theta wave. And the theta wave is where your brain does its ability to really repair and restore itself. It builds new tissues. It's able to create the amyloid beta proteins that actually are the sticky things that clean your brain out from any kind of viruses and pathogens that come in during the day from your nose or your eyes or your teeth. That's a big way that pathogens get into our brain, is through our gums and our teeth. So that's really an important thing that your brain needs to do. And so when you allow yourself to kind of go through those stages of sleep and not be interrupted, it goes a long way at helping your brain, keep itself healthy.
And do you have any thoughts on restless leg syndrome? That was a question from the community.
I do. I have a lot of thoughts on restless leg syndrome. It tends to be, I talk about it in my book too, it tends to be a GABA issue. So again, taking GABA and magnesium are really helpful with restless leg. A lot of women that are really deficient in GABA tend to have restless leg syndrome. And so, in fact, some of the drugs that are prescribed for restless leg, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, because it all depends on how the brain takes up the GABA from the drugs. But yeah, it's definitely an issue, and it's definitely something that can be fixed. So, and especially without taking meds. So if you want, pick up a copy of my book and or just reach out to me and we can discuss that.
Now, a lot of us think that we require less sleep as we get older. Is this true, or is it something that we just accept?
We just accept it, but no, you need 7 to 9 uninterrupted hours, basically from when you're a teenager all the way up until, your 90s, 100s. That 7 hours is really what you don't want to sleep under that. There are people that have genes to be short sleepers. And so you can test for a genetic component to being a short sleeper, but short sleepers don't live as long. Short sleepers tend to have much higher levels of chronic disease. That's why they're being studied. That's why it's been, there's a genome on this that they've been able to map, because you really want to be able to sleep that 7 to 9 uninterrupted hours. Yeah.
We have another question from the community. What has happened when you start to wake up and you can't move? It's almost like you're frozen for a moment.
Yeah, the sleep paralysis. Yeah, typically that happens. It depends on where you are, but that's the theta brainwave that you're in. So your brain is doing all these things. It's so busy at night. Your brain is like a self-cleaning oven. It has this switch, and as soon as you fall asleep and you start to drop down through these different brain waves, your brain's doing all these active things while you're resting. And so when that happens, your brain is in the theta waves, but your body is responding to that. And so the brain, as it cleans itself, it's not telling the nerves to move. It's not telling the muscles to do anything. And so you feel this weird sleep paralysis because of being in that theta brain state. So I would say if that happens, just, you're good. Your brain is doing what it needs to do, and just go back to sleep.
And what about the opposite of that, when we realize we've been twitching in our sleep? Not quite restless leg, but it's a twitch.
Yeah, that's really common. That, again, that's just moving between the different brain states and feeling the body, where the body actually has to relax itself. And so the muscles have to go through this system. Once you start to drift off to sleep and you hit that first sleep stage, a cascade of events happens inside of your body. That's why it's so important that you get that 7 to 9 hours, because you have to let that cascade of events happen all the way through. And the twitching usually starts right in the beginning of that first sleep cycle. And then after that, not so much, unless you're having a dream where you're really restless and you're moving around and there's a lot of activity in your mind.
And what about people with allergies? People for whom allergies really disrupt their sleep, whether it's itchy or, the symptoms keep them awake at night.
I would recommend a really, really high quality air purifier. And I would also recommend making sure that your bedding is cleaned every single week. My daughter has really severe allergies to dust mites. And so many people have dust mite allergies, and it keeps them up in the middle of the night. And it's really important. Or like a pet hair, it'll keep them up in the middle of the night. So really investing in a really top pharmaceutical grade level air purifier. And then of course, for me, that kills 2 birds with 1 stone, because then you get the white noise that will help you to rest in your room when you run your air purifier. So keep your bedding clean. Make sure you wash it every week on hot. Make sure you have a mattress cover and pillowcase covers for dust mites. And just try to keep your room as allergy free as possible. And I know sometimes things are blooming outside, And so at night where I live near the mountains, and the wind will kick up. And so I'll want to make sure that I shut my windows at night before I go to bed, because otherwise I get pollen and dust. And lately we've had the smoke from all the fires on the West Coast. And so again, there's ash and there's dirt and there's stuff that's just irritating my sinuses and my eyes. And so I've got to make sure that all the windows are shut and that my air purifiers are running to really, give me good, clean oxygen in my room.
Now, we all know that repetition helps a message sink in. So can you, for everyone, please top line your 10 tips for better sleep?
Okay, I will. Eat whole, real, nutritious food. No caffeine after 12. Make sure that you're hydrated during the day. Half your body weight in ounces. Let's see, exercise, daily exercise. Do something fun that you love to do, heart pounding, sweaty, really get moving, get the body moving. Let's see, don't drink or eat anything 3 hours before bedtime. Super important. Really, really important. Put a star next to that one on your list. Find a stress management technique that works for you. Meditation, breath work, listening to music, prayer, gratitude journal, something that helps make you really feel calm and centered and helps to lower your stress response. That's really important. Limit your alcohol. If you're going to drink alcohol, have it with your dinner and then nothing 3 hours before bed, and try not to drink more than 4 drinks a week if possible. Take a warm bath or shower 1 hour before bed. I love that one. And if you want to throw your magnesium in there, you can. Turn off your blue light 1 hour before bed. So turn off the TV or turn off the blue light on your iPad or your phone. That will be really helpful for you to make melatonin when you get ready to get into bed. And set up your sleep sanctuary, however that is for you, however you like to sleep. Make sure that you really honor yourself and do what you need to do to get a good night rest. And then if you want to use some supplements, use some magnesium, use some GABA, use some L-theanine before you go to bed. And those are really helpful. And then the essential oils that I love. So there you go. Those are my 10.
Remembering any of that, Shawna's book is available, and you can have it as a download. You can send us a note. Send me an email at amanda@JourneyWoman.com, and we can hook you up with that. Shawna, thank you so much for spending an hour with me and everyone who has joined us tonight. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. You are what makes this community tick. If you want more, you can join me on Wednesday night for our behind the scenes on our inspiration issue. It's sure to be a good one. And please look out for an announcement to come from us on Thursday. It's really exciting. I can't tell you what it is, but I promise it will be so helpful for so many of you out there who are feeling like you can't travel and won't be anytime soon. Thank you so much. If you have any other questions, please shoot us a line. It's not one and done. We are always here to answer your questions. So email me at amanda@journeywoman.com, and I will get your questions over to Shawna and make sure they get answered for you.
All right. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Night.
Hey, bye.
Bye.